Hearts has fused with the Universe Seed and become Godslayer Hearts. And that sounds all well and good and sounds like a great plot line for a Dragon Ball Super, movie or TV show arc or whatever. But it's all about execution. And with Dragon Ball Heroes, the promotional anime, every time I get on here, every time we do one of these reviews, I tend to explain what Heroes is just because you always have new people watching and you never know. And I think Heroes might still confuse people who don't really know what it is. Now, that being said, we have to judge it on how it executes things. And is it just me? I mean, maybe it is just me, but this Godslayer Hearts character design, right? I think the concept is fine. Fusing with the heart of the universe and creating this, the universe seed and creating this ultimate villain is total freaking like anime Sailor Moon type of final boss stuff. We've seen this before. But the design looks like bad fan fiction. If you agree with me, leave a comment. If not, also leave a comment and let me know why you disagree. I just don't like the design at all. I'm pretty sure Toriyama had nothing to do with it. In fact, I'm about 90% sure because he doesn't really do a lot of hero stuff anymore. He did way, way back in the day, but not so much now. But anyways, Godslayer Hearts appears, and the majority of this episode, this 8-minute episode, is to showcase how strong he is. And he essentially is fighting against a bunch of the Earth fighters like Vegeta and Trunks and 17 Piccolo and Goku, but also Hit and Jiren are there. And this dude Hearts is having literally no issues just pounding on the good guys, so to speak. And, I know they have to build up Hearts, to be this gigantic threat, but I really find it hard to believe that he's so strong he's able to beat Jiren and Hit. At least with Goku and Vegeta, they've been in many battles since the beginning of Heroes. They're beaten down. They're battle damaged. You could explain that Hearts, being refreshed is able to take them out. But from watching Dragon Ball Super, Jiren has an unbelievable level of stamina and durability. We've seen Jiren fight for many, many episodes straight, and I mean fight hard against both Vegeta in Blue Evolution and Goku in Kaioken. And so Jiren himself should not be tired here, and yet they have Hearts just dominating him. On top of that, the big selling point for this episode and the big teaser for the next episode, which comes out in December, is going to be Gogeta. Finally, almost a year after the Broly movie came out, Heroes decides to put in Gogeta. And of course, this is not the Gogeta we've already seen. Not SS4 Gogeta or even SS4 Vegito. We're talking about Gogeta Blue. Well, he's not blue yet, but presumably he will be blue in episode 18. It's Dragon Ball Super Broly's version of Gogeta. And one thing I will say is that he looks different without it being a Shintani promo piece. I think Gogeta still looks good. There's a couple of animation cuts in this episode with Goku, like there's a one where he comes in with like a fist and he turns blue. A couple of good cuts there, but overall the Yamamuro designs for Gogeta, they're not bad. I don't think they're terrible. You're going to have some animation people say they are, but they're definitely not as smooth and silky as Gogeta looked in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. So even though I think we can get excited as fans, or fanboys if you want to say that, fangirls for Gogeta because Gogeta is awesome, and Gogeta is also pretty undefeated in Dragon Ball lore when you think about it. He's never really lost a fight. Then again, fusions rarely actually lose. They usually defuse. Think about that. But either way, Gogeta Blue versus Hearts, it's probably going to be fun, I would hope, but it's not going to be as smooth or as just visually breathtaking as it was Gogeta versus Broly in Dragon Ball Super Broly. But there's not much to say about this episode, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I think Hearts looks ridiculous. I think him being the final boss is one that kind of makes sense because he is somewhat expendable. And Gogeta coming in is an exciting thing, and it's not going to look as good as the Broly movie, but it's still Gogeta. Gogeta Blue, of course, in December. That's their next big card, and for the Japanese game, and so we have to promote him. And we see them fuse into Gogeta at the end of this episode, but it makes me wonder, again, the power scaling in this series, this Dragon Ball Hero series, does not make any sense. And there's going to be people who will try and make sense of it. It's not. I mean, you just can't make sense of it. You can't do it. Presumably Hearts is stronger than Cumber, and we have other fusions that failed against Hearts, kind of failed against Hearts, and then, didn't beat him. And then we have, of course, Gogeta Blue, who is probably going to win. I mean, we thought this was going to be the last episode, episode 17, but in fact, they have one more coming. So it's just one of those things where if you try to overthink the power scaling on this thing, it's just, you're going to have a headache, you know, because Gogeta Blue is very, very strong. But can Gogeta Blue beat 100% power Jiren? You know what? Maybe I'll do a video on that because that would be a very interesting topic. Can Gogeta Blue beat Jiren, who is fresh as a daisy? Not tired Jiren, Jiren who's fresh as a daisy, 100% health. You know, it could be a good discussion to have because remember, Jiren is very, very, very strong. Of course, Goku says in the actual episode, he's like, you know, I can't control Ultra Instinct. It could come and go as it pleases. I don't know how to get it back up. So we have to fuse. But what's interesting about this is where this takes place in the timeline. Again, don't try to make sense of it. We know that Heroes is after Dragon Ball Super, but we don't know if it's after Dragon Ball Super Broly, but presumably it is because they wouldn't. Vegeta knows the fusion pose, and in the Dragon Ball Super continuity, he never learned it until, you know, Dragon Ball Super Broly. So it's going to be kind of weird to think back that this Heroes promo anime started, about 6 months before the Broly movie came out? About 6 months, but yet here we are almost a year later, and I guess it takes place after Broly and it did the entire time? Is that what we're supposed to believe? Again, don't try to make sense of it. I'm telling you now, if you try to make sense of it, you're going to be up till 3 a.m. trying to make sense of it, and we all have better things to do, like sleep and, I don't know, watch a better show than Dragon Ball Heroes. So overall, this was decent. There's not much to this episode. You could literally skip this episode. Gogeta's coming. That's all you have to know. They fuse. Cool. He's going to show up. I mean, he already showed up, but not coming. He's here. But Gogeta Blue, presumably going to go into blue form next episode and probably kick Hearts' ass. I mean, that's the way I'm seeing it. I don't see Hearts making it out of this one. I think they're really protecting Gogeta Blue. I think the writers know Gogeta Blue is like the max power besides Ultra Instinct, and those two things have to be protected, using a wrestling term here, protected, because in the future, those are going to be the big, you know, trump cards for Goku. You know, it used to be the Genki Dama, the Spirit Bomb, and the Dragon Fist, which they could always bring back if they want. I mean, you know they could bring, and they probably will at some point, but we have Gogeta Blue, so that is that. Or Gogeta Super, whatever you want, Dragon Ball Super Gogeta, whatever you want to call them. Anyways, that about does it for my review. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like I said, thumbs in the middle, slightly leaning down. You can skip it. Just, I'm sure we'll have a good time in December watching Gogeta Blue mop the floor with Hearts. That's going to be fun. I hope it's good. Anyways, I'll see you soon. Take care of yourself and each other.